Hey, welcome to Live with Lynn. So if you're here, say hi. If you're watching the replay, be sure to type replay so I know you were here. I'm Lynn Huber, and I appreciate you being here today. So today I'm going to talk about complacency. Are you guilty of complacency? Do you feel like you're not growing as fast as you would like, or maybe you feel like you're stuck and not moving forward as quickly as you want to move forward? Sometimes maybe our satisfaction and our progress towards our goals are impeded by our own complacency. So complacency is that feeling of being okay with whatever happens around you. You're willing to accept things the way they are right now. And this happens sometimes with online entrepreneurs, or even entrepreneurs, whether they're not online or not, whether they experience a little bit of success, but instead of working towards the next level, they stay right where they're at because sometimes it's easier, it gets comfortable. And I see this all the time with my team members when they earn a cruise or a fabulous vacation, and it just makes me really sad. They had such a great time on the trip. They came home basking in the glory of the fabulous vacation that they just had, and they're feeling like they have arrived, right? But the problem is, while they're basking in that feeling of accomplishment, they forget to move forward. They get stuck and they stop moving forward. And sometimes I try to prod them and push them, but really it's not something I can do. It's something they have to do for themselves. But I see this happen over and over again, and it breaks my heart. They work hard, they earn a trip, they go on that trip and they have the best times of their lives, and then they come home and they stop working their business, or they work it, but they work it at a much lower level. They just don't put that effort into it that they were before, right? And while being a little complacent is totally fine, being overly complacent is a dangerous thing. And I'm not just talking about trips here. I mean, I'm talking about life or business in general. You don't want to be complacent. Obviously, you shouldn't always hate where you are in life. Obviously, you want to be happy with what you have, right? You want to have gratitude, and you want to look around you and be happy with everything you have. But you have to be somewhat critical of your life to see where you can improve. You always want to be growing, right? You always want to be moving towards that next step or that next level of growth, whether it's in your personal life or your business life. If everything's always fine, you won't ever overcome any obstacles. And then you're going to be stuck in that unfulfilling job forever, or you're always going to be wondering why your business isn't growing, or why you're not getting the things that you want in your life, right? You have to be able to find the right balance between being grateful for what you have and wanting something better. Hi, Cynthia. Good to see you. So complacency may be something that, it might have started being instilled in you when you were a child, right? It could be as early as your childhood. It's like everything else, all of our habits, all of our thoughts and everything, they usually come from our childhood. But, maybe you were told that you wouldn't really ever amount to anything. And so you got comfortable with the mediocre and you just accepted it. Right? For me, it was the opposite of that. I mean, I pretty much was told as a child that I would never amount to anything. I didn't belong to the right church. I was poor. I came from a poor family. My life was pretty brutal, but my parents tried to do their best for me and my brother and sister, but they themselves, they were immigrants, and they led small lives, and they had small expectations. My mom's life revolved around maybe 5 or 6 blocks. I mean, she'd never even been outside of the area that we lived in, other than, once they moved to Utah, right? Both my parents are immigrants. But my parents' big dream for me was that if I worked really hard, really hard, maybe I could even grow up to be a secretary. That was, for my parents, that was like the ultimate, oh my gosh, if my daughter grew up to be a secretary, we'd be so proud of her, right? To them, just being in an office, having a job in an office was something they couldn't even imagine. My mother worked in a laundry, and then later on got a job working in a dorm, at a college dorm, cleaning rooms. And my dad, he was a handyman. So they couldn't even imagine that they would be so proud of their daughter if she grew up to work in an office job and typed and became a secretary, right? But hey, when I was told I wouldn't amount to much, instead of saying, oh, well, this is my lot, this is what I'm going to be, my attitude was, well, I'll show you. And I guess that's where, I've always been trying to prove myself my whole life, probably since then. And that's probably where I created that habit of always be growing. So that's it for me. Let's get off of me and let's get back to the story today. But hey, maybe you had it like me in some ways, right? I mean, I'm a child of the 60s. I was born in the late 50s, and a lot of people my age grew up in a lot the same way I did. Or maybe for you, maybe school was pretty easy for you, and you started to think that you were doing just fine with the minimum amount of effort. And so there was no reason to spend too much time focusing on your schoolwork because you could pass any test, right? But then once you reach the real world, these habits probably came along with you, and you're less successful because of that, because you never really had to push yourself, right? I mean, there's lots of reasons why someone might be complacent, and I'm not saying that any of these is you. I mean, we and then even complacency goes up and down like anything else, right? So it's really important to your happiness and your success for you to take a good look at yourself and be really honest with yourself about whether you're being complacent. you know because if you are, maybe it's a good thing to know that. I mean, if you care, if you want to grow, if you want to better yourself, then it's really a good thing to know if you're being complacent. So really sit down and look at your life and look at yourself and think about, am I guilty of this? Because, none of us are perfect, right? But so how do you undo so many years of complacency? I mean, how do you change your ways? Well, it's just like any other unlearning a negative trait, right? It's just like habits, right? You have to make it your main focus, and you have to work on it every day. Start pointing out everything that you would like to be better in your life. Start dreaming. If you don't dream now, then start dreaming. Make a vision board. Start looking online and in magazines, things that you want out of your life, things that you want. I'm not looking for you to be depressed about it. I'm not. It's obviously depressed is not a happy life, right? But being a little bit upset or wanting more, I guess is a better way to say that. Wanting a little bit more is a good way to drive you. You can be happy with what you have and still want to grow more, right? But even more importantly, just start making actual progress towards your goals and changes. I mean, that's the only real way to break out of the cycle of complacency. And it's going to be so worth it, because changing your complacent ways are going to help you immensely. I mean, first you'll notice that you're so much happier by being a little negative sometimes. I know that sounds counterintuitive, right? But that might sound strange, but it really makes sense when you think about it, because if you're happy all the time and it becomes so commonplace, then the feeling loses its importance. So you have to have a little bit of bad to be able to appreciate the good. You have to stretch to really get that feeling of accomplishing something. But secondly, you'll work towards your goals more effectively. If you're fine with everything as it is, you won't have any desire to change your life. You need some kind of push to make you want to change things for the better. And not being content with everything in your life might be that push. There's probably something in your life that you would want to be better, right? Doesn't mean you can't appreciate what you have. Don't get me wrong. Appreciate what you have, but always strive to be better. So, hey, how about you? Do you ever find yourself being complacent? What kinds of things help you push yourself out of it? What kinds of things help you get going, or help you going after something? So please get down in the comments and share with me. I would love to hear your stories. So thanks, Cynthia, for being on live with me, and anyone else who might be live that just hasn't commented, and anyone who's watching the replay. I appreciate you, and I will look for you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye-bye.